Hello fluffy gamers! I have been playing with Homestead system couple of weeks, made few mistakes and learned few things. Let's start with understanding that the homestead building and regular building are two different things. It doesn't mean they can't overlap, but for the homestead system the regular building doesn't matter. And one reason is because homestead building and materials can be bought from the shop. Golden grain and the bounty gourd you get as a quest reward or from the trades. Timber is gathered by workers or you, but we'll come back to that in a bit. The green money, bounty gourd, is the main money that is needed to buy all the buildings and production utensils. It is also needed for leveling or upgrading Blissful retreat. But the money isn't only a requirement that is needed for leveling. There is also a prosperity points. Those you get only from placing buildings, utensils or decorations from the shop, and few quest rewards. That's why the basic building system doesn't matter, because it won't give any points. Because of prosperity points, I think it's also important to pay attention of how much are you spending. At the beginning, get all the productions going. It won't bring much in at the beginning, but the task rewards will help with that. I did a mistake of spending everything on the decorations at the beginning. Luckily there were a few quests I was able to do to recover from that mistake. The golden grain isn't the best option to spend for prosperity points, as you need that currency for character cosmetics and all that kind of stuff. But the third currency, timber, could sound like a very easy option, as you can gather that yourself. But the game devs thought about it and they have made that it needs to be in Blissful Retreat warehouse, which actually has an option for you to deposit items in. But before you go and drop in a ton of timber, which is one mistake that cost me entire day in production time, I would like to draw your attention to the fact that the warehouse has a weekly deposit limit. I do recommend to deposit minimal amounts through the week. Because if you max it out before the week ends, then you might come into a situation where your workers run low on any of the resources that you could give them, such as the basic stone or the raw ore. But with the maxed out warehouse limit, there is no way you can help them. This is a mistake I did myself as well. A lot of time was wasted because of that. So play smart, and when the week ends, then drop as much as lumber as you can. And before you go full on shopping with it, think that the workers also need some timber for crafting, so do leave some for them too. So let's talk about the workers. If we look at the worker window, we see there are two types. Special ones on the top and the rest of them. The special workers come through the quests from Young Master's routine, and those quests seem to be RNG. Main difference, other than being characters from the story, is that all the skills that they have will be unlocked at level 1. Another big difference is that those workers do not count in as a worker limit. So, if you have already maxed out your worker limit, you can still hire them. Rest of the workers, I would say, they also go in two different categories. One is worker with skills and the other who doesn't have any skills unlocked. I do recommend at the beginning, take workers who already have skills for the job you need. Most workers don't have skills, and animals even have limits to what skills they can have. Though if geese can cater, then I don't see problem why dog wouldn't chop trees. But I guess it is what it is. To unlock skills on worker, you need artisan manual. This is also used to level them up. Even though they do get some XP by working, I believe majority of the leveling will be done through the manuals. To get artisan manuals, we have two options. One is from the shop with weekly limit, and the other is from rewards from Young Master's routine. You get 2 per quest, so that's 24 in total per week. Those manuals seem to be progression limiters, as we don't get that much of those and it costs a lot to level workers. And if you happen to run out of those, but you got a new worker with no skills, then there is a way to save yourself. You can reset workers that you have leveled up. You get back 100% of the manuals, but also note that you get back what you put in. Meaning that the worker who came with skills will keep that as a baseline. You cannot reset those. For resetting, you need Ledger of Unlearning. You buy those from the shop and it also has a weekly limit. While looking at the rest of the system, I noticed something. Why is there a limit and why can I buy 100 of that? Like, what's the reason for that? And here we have to go and see something that is called Crane Retreat. At first I didn't really understand the point of this facility. That's till I saw the Ledger of Unlearning. In short, this is the resting house for your workers. If we go back to workers, then we see a vigor bar or simply energy. Workers who work obviously use energy and need to recover that. We have 3 options. I think the easiest is to click on Vigor button and then just set the food or drink and the threshold when they should consume it. The other option, which is way more complicated, and I don't see many players using it at the beginning, is Crane Retreat. The whole reason for that place is like recovery center for them. But here is the thing. It takes a long time to recover. My short test showed that within 24 hours you recover 72 energy. That's 3 energy per hour. Though it is faster than the third option, which is to just release worker from duty. This gives you 2 energy per hour, or 48 in a day. As far as I can tell, the way they want us to use Crane Retreat is that first you need to have more workers than spots for working. Then let's say in-worker needs time to rest. Then take your extra worker from the crane and you either reset the in-worker levels and put it in the crane worker, or you have levels already on that worker and you just reset the stats and level up whatever position it has to go. That's the only reason what I can come up with where you need 100 Ledger of Unlearning in a week. And it also gives a reason for the Crane Retreat to exist. Probably it is more useful on higher levels, if you have ton of workers. I mean, the effectiveness of this really boils down to how many extra workers you have. Okay, so let's talk about something that doesn't require workers. That is farming. This is one thing that gets faster with progression, as the farming by hand is pretty much only in tutorial part. Once you unlock farming with mystic skills, you will spend a lot less time with crops. This method will stay till level 9. That's where we unlock auto farming on the last crop plot. And regarding skill farming, from my testing it seems the harvesting with the bamboo stick is pretty useless. I have never gotten any boost drops on the 12-hour plants. And all the lining up and stuff, it's just a meh. Easiest way to harvest is just go center of the plot, jump once and smash land. Easy as that, no running around, no nothing. Another skill to mention is watering skill. The flute skill is long skill, and if you want you can water 4 plots at least with one skill. Just watch for the little water animation and after that run in the center of the next plot and repeat. So 1 skill, 4 plots. Also, question for you. The game tells you can also build water wheels to irrigate nearby farmlands. I have looked everywhere I can and I do not find water wheel anywhere. If you know how we can get that, then drop it in the comments. Thanks. Once we have all the productions and farms going, we can start thinking about trade for profits. But that is probably for level 7 or even 8. It's not worth selling lower tier products, and I wouldn't sell any raw materials either. To make any useful profit, I do believe the higher level products are needed. One last bit I wanna talk about is output and consumption numbers. Those are pretty helpful to see if you have any issues coming in any of your production lines. For example, if we look the raw ore mining, then we see that the output is 5.5 in hour and consumption is 12.8 in hour. That means I lose roughly 7 raw ore per hour, and once that happens, then all my porcelain productions will stop working. Also, we see that I have 270 ore in a warehouse, and if I lose 7 per hour, then that means I have about 38 hours till I run out of it. You can do the same math on anything else too, like catering workers, to see if you have enough foods to sell. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay fluffy.